Hey, what's up everyone? This is Tyler from House of Cards TCG, and today I'm bringing you another combo tutorial video, and this time we're going to be talking about Evil Eye. So I realized in the tier list video that Shane and I just did, where you get to decide whose tier list you agree with the most, we went over all these different decks, and one thing that got new support from Photon Hypernova was Evil Eye, and I knew nothing about the deck. So in preparing for this Philly regional that I have coming up this Saturday, I wanted to dive into Evil Eye, and I was actually surprised because I got to learn the deck fairly easy. It's a pretty linear combo deck, which is you want to get to Surzeal. Surzeal is the way that you get to your new card that came out in Photon Hypernova, which is Evil Eye Unleashed. Now we're going to talk about this card here in a minute. Now there's many ways to get to Surzeal. You can go ahead and search it through Domain. You can grab Domain off of Terraforming. You can hard draw it because there's the 3 of in the deck. So Surzeal is pretty important. You can play cards like Pot of Prosperity or Extravagance in this deck. And definitely, because you don't need to use your extra deck too much in this, but it's there. So there's a lot of ways to get to Surzeal. Now, what we're going to talk about is Evil Eye Unleashed, because this is one of the new cards from Photon Hypernova that increased this deck's playability. So Evil Eye Unleashed, and what this card does is for cost, mind you, this is for cost, it's going to go ahead and send an Evil Eye monster, and it's going to send an Evil Eye spell or trap. That is cost. That is the whole point of this card. If your opponent decides to ash the other effect, the resolving effect, which is adding an equip spell, which is most of the time you're going to grab Gargania, that's fine. They can ash that because you probably have other ways to get to that card. The whole point of this, though, is you're going to send one of the other cards that came out in Photon Hypernova, which is Basiltrice. So if you control an Evil Eye monster, you can go ahead and special summon Basiltrice from the graveyard, and that's how you get to your link to Gorgon. Gorgon is kind of like a Towers in a way, and I'm explaining to you how this card just gets out of control and insane. So Basiltrice is one of the new cards from Photon Hypernova. Unleashed is, as well as Evil Eye Awakening. Now, what I found in testing is that Evil Eye Awakening is sort of a one-of. It's kind of a extender if you want to go into some different rank plays, because this deck has a lot of level 3 monsters. So you can overlay into cards like Darius, which makes the DDD big boss monster, or you could play Bamboozling, or you could play Kikata King. There's a lot of different things that you could play that go into some rank 3s. So Evil Eye Awakening is also some support. It's more of a one-of. It's just a special summon if you have Selene on the field. And Selene is insane. So Selene you equip to your Link 2, which is Gorgon, and that's how you make your Link 2 gain attack and get out of control, and also makes it unable to be destroyed by battle, targeted, or destroyed by card effects. Crazy, I know. So if you're not prepared for this deck, then you could definitely get caught off guard, because the traps in this deck are really what make this deck so insane. The cards like Evil Eye Defeat, Evil Eye Retribution, those cards bounce 2 cards if you have Selene, which they always have Selene equipped to their Link 2. Bounce 2 cards, negate a spell and trap. These traps are insane, and they're searchable. So Evil Eye's engine is actually crazy, and you can pair it with cards like Skill Drain, Gozen, Imperm. All those cards can be played in your deck, and it's basically a kind of control mid-range combo deck that has a towers, so you have to deal with the traps and the towers. So in this combo tutorial, I'm going to be going over 3 combos, which are what I think are imperative in this deck, which are what you need to learn. One of those is going to be a full combo, obviously, and then at the end of this, I actually have an interaction with Kashtira, so you can see how insane this deck can be if you let it full combo. Now, disclaimer, I am playing on Nexus. The reason why I'm playing on Nexus is because I want you to see in real time how the Gorgon gains the attack, and how the trigger effect of Selene going off every time is going to gain the attack of Gorgon, and explain that to you and how that works. So the reason why I'm playing on Nexus is so that for your benefit, so you can see the attack gain that Dueling Book doesn't allow me. So without further ado, let's dive on into this Evil Eye combo tutorial, and please make sure to like and subscribe. We truly appreciate you. Okay, so for this 1-card combo, I basically had to sift through 10 hands to find one that just is a 1-card combo, because this deck is very consistent. But ideally, it's either Field Spell or Surzeal, and that's a 1-card combo that allows you to full off into your full Evil Eye plays, which is really hard to stop once you get going. So Field Spell, you could activate that and search Surzeal, or you could just hard open Surzeal. Now in this hand, obviously we have an Evil Eye Spell or Trap negate, or when a Spell or Trap card is activated, while you control Evil Eye monster, negate the activation and destroy it. And if you have Selene, which you always do, that's going to allow you to banish it. So this is really good with Gozen and 2 Ash. So just a 1-card combo here. So what you do is you can activate Field Spell, search Surgial, normal summon Surgial. Or if you hard open Surgial, you just activate that. Surgial is then going to go ahead and grab you your Unleashed. Now remember, Unleashed is a 4-cost card. So you activate Unleashed, and then 4 cost, you're going to send the Basiltrice, and you're going to send the Gorgonio. You can go ahead and activate the Basiltrice in Graveyard, and that's going to special summon itself. And then you want to go ahead and grab the Selene. That's obviously after the Unleashed was resolving. So after for cost, you send the monster in the spell. Then you get to search the equip spell. So you're going to go ahead and grab Selene here. And this, because it's cost, you can actually chain Basiltrice to the activation of Unleashed, which is what I did there. So now you activate the Gorgonio in the Graveyard. That's going to banish itself, and you're going to pitch the Selene from hand. What that does is it allows you to grab any one of your traps. So we have the Retribution. Defeat is the best trap in this deck. It's basically a bounce 2. So what this card does is if you have Selene in the equip spell, you can activate this and bounce 2 cards, 1 or 2 cards that your opponent controls. It's really good against Kashtira, against any cards that want to go into Link 2s, XYZs, just synchros. It's insane. So you want to go ahead and grab the defeat. Now Unleashed has another effect. And what Unleashed says is you can banish this card from your graveyard, equip 1 Evil Eye equip spell to the graveyard to an Evil Eye Link monster you control, and that's when you Link Summon. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and Link Summon for our Gorgon. That's going to trigger the Unleashed, and that's going to equip Selene to our Link 2. Now Selene is what makes the Gorgon towers. So Selene says you equip to the Evil Eye monster, it cannot be destroyed by battle, your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. So you can't target it, you can't beat over it, and you can't destroy it with card effects. You basically have to, if you just end on this, you can't even Lava Golem. You got to Kaiju it, or you have to Underworld Goddess to get rid of this card. And then on top of that, every time you activate an Evil Eye card, spell or trap card, or the Link monster, which is the card that this card Selene is equipped to, which is this Link monster. So Gorgon, I also forgot to mention, is a monster negate. So if this card is equipped with the Evil Eye of Selene, which is this card right here, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. So when that effect activates, or you activate one of your Evil Eye spell or traps, you're going to lose 500 life points, and this card is going to gain 500 attack. So this is how you snowball. And then when you pair the Selene with the Gorgonio and you equip both those cards to your Gorgon, it gets out of control, and this towers can get to 5, 6, 7, 8,000 attack, can't be destroyed by battle, can't be destroyed by card effects, and can't be targeted. It's really insane if you think about it. So in the other combos, we're going to go a little bit further and show you when we open up outside just the 1-card combo, and make sure to stay tuned for the last part where we go against the Kashtira deck and I show you a combo with them. All right, let's get into the next combo. In this combo, I want to show you what happens if you open up either the Field Spell or Surgial with Unleashed, and you can show you what this combo looks like. Obviously, I'm hoping to hit Field Spell or Surgial off of the Pot of Prosperity here, so let's just banish, doesn't matter, banish 6 here. So we want to see Field Spell or Surgial. It's pretty, there it is, Surgial. So it's pretty easy to get to these cards, especially when you play Prosperity. Obviously, we'll go ahead and grab this. We'll put these back at the bottom. That's why Prosperity is so good in this deck. I do understand that Prosperity is expensive, but it really does make this deck very consistent. So we activate Domain. That's going to grab us our Surgial. And again, this is already hard opening the Unleashed. So we activate Surgial. Surgial is going to go ahead and activate, and we could grab any of our cards here. Obviously, we could grab Basil, which is an extender for us, which allows us to full combo into some other things. So from here, let's grab ourselves a Basil, or you could grab another trap like Retribution or Defeat. We obviously opened up one here. So now we can go ahead and activate this for cost, send Basil and send the Gorgonio. Now we're going to trigger the Basiltrice. That's going to special summon out. And we'll grab ourselves a Selene. Now we will trigger the Gorgonio. We're going to pitch the Selene. And we're going to grab ourselves the Defeat. And here, we're going to go ahead and special summon out Basilisk. Basilisk is going to go ahead and send us another Unleashed. We're going to link 2, but we're going to use those 2 there. That's going to make ourselves our Gorgon. That's going to trigger the Unleashed, and that's going to equip the Selene to our Gorgon. And now, this is kind of the full combo, but you have Defeat, which is a bounce 2, any other trap like Skill Drain, Goes in Match. Plus we hard opened another Evil Eye monster, or another Evil Eye trap, which obviously Mesmerism. And what this does is when your opponent special summons a monster, you can target one of those special summons in attack position with less attack than the Evil Eye monster you control. Take control of it. So it's basically a snatch steal. And this guy, of course, Gorgon, just continually gains attack every time you activate an Evil Eye card. So throughout your opponent's turn, you're just going to go ahead and be activating, getting a ton of attack. Also, your Basiltrice can also, because we threw another Unleashed into the graveyard, you can link off the Selene and the Basiltrice, and you can even make your link 3. So let me show you what that looks like. Because in the next combo, I'm going to show you... Next combo I'm going to show you is full comboing with Gorgonio in your hand too. So we'll go ahead and activate the Basil. We'll make our link 3 here. We'll take these two. That's going to trigger the Unleashed. We obviously have a lot of traps to trigger here. We'll go ahead and do this. Now what this can do, because the Gorgon would have had more attack, so it has more than 2600, which it would have because you would already activate your Evil Eye cards. This card can make a second attack during the battle phase, and it's equipped with a Selene, so you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. So this is really good against back row decks because you can go ahead and special summon this out, and you could go ahead and just start popping cards. So your Gorgon is a monster negate. You have your traps as the backfield to interact with the opponent. And if they set backfield, you can link into the Zerziel, and Zerziel can start popping cards on the field. So that's just another combo and showing you a different way to play with Evil Eye. Okay, for this combo, this is accessing a way to Zerziel, which is through the field spell, or hard drawing it, plus Unleashed, so you can see what this combo looks like. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and normal summon out Zerziel. Zerziel is going to search us out an Evil Eye monster, which this time we're going to go ahead and grab the Basil. Now what we could do is we can go ahead and activate the Unleashed. Unleashed is going to go ahead and send these two. We're going to trigger out our Basil. Oh, I said Basil for the other guy, not Basil. Basilisk. I guess it's the same. And then we grab the Selene, of course. Now what we do is we go ahead and activate the Gorgonia, pitching the Selene. That's going to go ahead and grab us any of one of our traps. We grab the Defeat. And then we can go ahead and special summon out the Basilisk. Basilisk is then going to go ahead and send us out another one of the Unleashed to the graveyard. And we did open up the Gorgonio, which is going to make this actually cracked because you're going to see how fast that our Link 2 gains the attack. So now what we do is we can go ahead and link. We can use Zerziel and the Basilisk. That's going to trigger our first Unleashed. Unleashed is going to equip Selene to our Link 2, Gorgon. And what we could do here is we obviously open up really insane, but we're going to go ahead and activate the Gorgonio, and we're going to equip that to our Link 2. That's going to trigger the Selene, and that's going to make us lose 500 life points and have this gain 500 attack points. The reason why it gained 1,000 is because the difference in our life points to our opponents is 500, and this card says that the equipped monster gains 500 attack, and if it does, you lose 500 life points. This card over here, which is the Gorgonio, it says that while your life points are lower than your opponent's, the equipped monster gains attack equal to the difference. So these two cards in tandem will allow you to continue to gain attack. Now let me just show you, for example, if we trigger these cards, okay, so at end phase, and remember, this is also a monster negate. So at end phase, let's just go ahead and we can trigger Basil. Or the Basiltrice. So Basiltrice will allow us to link summon, and we can obviously equip Selene back to our Link 2 when we do that. So let's first activate Basil. Let's go ahead and link. Again, this is all just for show, so I can show you. Let's go ahead and link these two off, go into another Gorgon. We activate our other Unleashed in the graveyard, equipping Selene back to this card because obviously it has that Gorgonia equipped to it already. Now we can trigger our Defeat, so that's going to trigger our Selene. So when we activate Defeat, bounce this card. Again, you would be bouncing your opponent's monsters, but this is for combo purposes. That's going to trigger the Selene. And again, we're going to lose 500 life points, and it's going to gain. And again, we have another card, which is Retribution, which is a spell or trap negate, that would have also activated to create this big towers. Can't be destroyed by battle, can't be targeted, can't be destroyed by card effects, and it would have easily been at 5,000-6,000 attack. Okay, so for this combo, I want to show you some interactions with Kashtira. So for this hand, all we did was we opened up Prosperity, one of our Evil Eye traps, a call by that's just going to stop an Ash. We have Gozen Match, which is obviously a great floodgate. And then we have our 1-card combo, which is the field spell. And I have Shane on the other hand. He's a top 100 player on Nexus, House of Cards TCG. So he's going to be playing Kashtira. So we're going to see how the Gorgon just continually gains this attack, becomes untargetable, can't be destroyed by battle, all that good stuff. So let's just go ahead and start comboing. The first thing, we're going to deck thin a little bit. We're going to go ahead and activate our field spell. The field spell is then going to go ahead and grab us our Surzeal. Shane, turn your chaining off. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and grab the Surzeal. And our Prosperity obviously is going to be able to search us some different cards. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and activate it because we could grab an Unleashed off of our Prosperity, which is then going to go ahead and allow our Surzeal to grab us another trap. So off of our Prosperity, let's just go ahead and banish 6 cards. We'll just do that. That's fine. Let's see what our Prosperity hits here. So we don't need either one of those. Don't need that. That Gorgonio is actually really good. So let's just go ahead and grab our Gorgonio. We're going to be able to equip that to our Gorgon, and that's going to allow it to gain even more attack. So having that in hand is actually really good here. So now what we do is we're going to go ahead and normal summon out our Surzeal. Surzeal is going to go ahead and activate. That's going to go ahead and grab us our Unleashed. And again, Unleashed is for cost. We're going to go ahead and activate, send our Basil Trees, and we're going to send our Gorgonio. Now what we're going to do is we're going to trigger our Basil Trees. Basil Trees is going to special summon back. And then we're going to go ahead and add ourselves a Selene from deck to hand. We're now going to activate our Gorgonio in the graveyard. That's going to banish, and we're going to pitch our Selene from hand. That is going to go ahead and allow us to grab any one of our traps. We obviously want to grab our Defeat here. Defeat is the Bounce 2, which is going to be really good against Kashtira. Now we're going to take both of those, where you're going to link them off. And that's going to trigger our Unleashed, and that's going to allow us to equip our Selene to our Gorgon. Now what we do is we're going to take the Gorgonio in hand. We're going to go ahead and equip it to our Gorgon, and that's going to allow us to trigger the Selene, which will let us lose 500 life points to allow Gorgon to gain 500 attack. Now, with that being said, the Gorgonio is then going to, because our difference in our life points is 500, gain that attack as well. So now that's why he's at 3,000 attack, and we have 2 Evil Eye cards. So every time we activate an Evil Eye card, the Selene is going to trigger, and again, he's just going to become a Towers. Also keep in mind, the Gorgon can't be outed by battle, can't be destroyed by card effects, and it can't be targeted by any of the opponent's cards. So we only have 3 spots here, so we're going to decide what we want to set. Let's just go ahead and set definitely our 2 Evil Eye cards. And if we want to, we can just floodgate out a Gozen and lock our opponent in, or we can set the called by. Let's go ahead and set Gozen. And we're going to pass over to Shane, who's going to go ahead and try to play through this with his Kashtira board. So he's going to go ahead and activate the field spell, which is going to allow him to search. Obviously, we can flip Gozen or Defeat. We're going to let that resolve. That's going to allow him to search out a Kashtira monster. And ideally, what we want to do is we want to wait for him to summon 2 Kashtiras, and then we could go ahead and bounce them. So he's going to go ahead and grab Unicorn. Obviously, Unicorn is an incredible card. We do not really care about the extra deck either, so allowing Unicorn to come down and rip our extra deck is fine. But we're going to go ahead and let him grab the Spell and Trap, or we could also flip the Mesmerism. So because this card right here, because Mesmerism says that by targeting one of those special monsters and attack, if the attack is less than an Evil Eye monster you control, which Unicorn is at 2,700, our Gorgon is at 3,000, so we can actually flip Mesmerism and snatch steal the Unicorn. So let's just go ahead and do that now. So we will go ahead and snatch steal the Unicorn. That's going to trigger the Selene. We're going to lose 500 life points, and Gorgon's going to gain 500, which in turn is also going to have him gain 1,000 because of the Gorgonio. And again, now we're at 4,000. Still can't be destroyed by battle, card effects, or targeted. And we have obviously our Unicorn. And the Mesmerism is a continuous trap. There's no restrictions to this, like it can't attack. It's treated as an Evil Eye monster. So we basically have just stolen a Unicorn that can attack, help us with the OTK and everything else. So I think Mesmerism is a really good card. And let's see what Shane wants to do if he has the extender. Again, we still have a Defeat as well. So he's going to go for the Prosperity. We're going to allow that to go through. He's going to go ahead and dig for 6 cards because he obviously, just taking the 1 card away from him was a pretty big deal. So let's see what he hits here. The responses obviously are goes in defeat, but we don't want to use that. So he does hit the extender. Obviously, he's got a couple of extenders here, which is going to be fine for us because it's going to allow us to use our defeat as well. And right now, if he goes for the Fenrir, which he does, Fenrir, if we activate a monster effect, they can target one face-up card your opponent controls and banishes it. They obviously can't go for our Gorgon, so he could go for one of our equip spells, but let's see what he does. We could wait for him to go into the battle phase, and because Fenrir right now does nothing to us. So let's see what he decides to do. He's going to activate Fenrir, and that is to obviously search for another Kashtira card. We could activate the Gorgon and negate that, but we're going to hold on to that for right now because we don't want to get our Gorgania or our Selene banished. That would be pretty painful. So we're going to hold on and wait for the defeat. It's funny, you can actually activate the Kashtira Unicorn and rip a card from their extra deck. That's actually hilarious. I didn't even think about that. Pretty funny. So we're going to wait for the next monster to come down. So he's going to go ahead and activate the Theosius. That's going to special summon. This is going to give us a great opportunity to use our defeat. So he brings out another copy of a Unicorn. Now here, what we could do is we can go ahead and trigger our defeat. Now, because we have Selene, we get to bounce both these cards back to their hand. And then that's also going to trigger our Selene. And Selene's going to trigger, again, losing 500 life points, but then gaining that attack as well. So we bounce both those cards, and we go up to 5,100 attack. And it looks like he may see what he decides to do here. He does bring down the Fenrir. We obviously have a Gozen, and we still have a monster negate that we could do. So let's see what he decides to do. He does go for a Rise Heart. So from here, we have an Earth and... which we knew that he had the Rise Heart. So we have an Earth and a Fire. We can actually activate our Unicorn. We're going to rip a card from the extra deck. And we're going to flip the Gozen. So Gozen is going to send the Unicorn to their graveyard. And we'll just go ahead and rip one of his cards. It looks like we can just go ahead and just rip that Shangri-La real quick because he already banished it off of Pot of Prosperity. So again, Insane, he's going to activate the Fenrir. He's going to try to banish that. We can now trigger our Gorgon, and we're going to go ahead and negate the Fenrir. Again, that's going to trigger Selene, and we're going to gain that attack again. So now we're at 6,200 attack. Again, can't be destroyed by battle, card effects, or targeted. So you can see how this can get out of control. He's just got more extender. He doesn't have the Shangri-La, but he's got more extenders. You can see just how insane this can get, though. He can only go into Earth XYZs because the Gozen flipped over, but essentially, you guys can get an idea of how this works. Shane, not much that he could do. He's just going to basically pass from here. So, I can activate the Evil Eye Domain when they attack. During damage calculation, because he can attack, if they were to do any battle damage to me, you can inflict that to your opponent as well. We don't want to do that, but he's basically just attacking now. I'm not sure what he's doing. He surrendered. So ideally, you guys get an idea of what the Evil Eye can do. It does create that towers, and when you combine the towers with the back row, it does make it for a really hard matchup. I mean, Shane kind of had the nuts there. It was kind of an insane hand, and we were able to play through it with everything else. Between the Prosperity banishing, us stealing the Unicorn, ripping a card from the extra deck, and then being able to get the towers up to 6,200. It was an easy OTK when we go back. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This has been Tyler with House of Cards TCG. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next video.